I've been feeling guilty, folks, because I had been doing a diary of sorts, documenting every movie that I watched, and it began to feel like work. I couldn't just watch a movie and enjoy it, and I kind of got out of the habit of taking notes, but I saw a film just now. Today is August 24th, 2024. It is my 37th birthday, and my wife was gracious enough to corral the children while I watched a recently thrifted DVD, The Long Voyage Home. So a couple of days ago, I was at a thrift shop in Modesto, and I like buying other people's collections that have been donated. Someone donated a huge collection of John Wayne DVDs, and as I go through DVDs, when I find them in the wild, perhaps it's not a movie that I've heard about it, I'll kind of do a quick Google search. And I've been wanting to build up my John Ford collection. I have a couple of John Ford movies, and he's always a phenomenal director. Unfortunately, I lost the majority of my reviews on Ford films on my old channel. I have them on the iCloud. I just haven't reloaded them. But we're going to dig into this film. This movie, it's a black and white film. I'm Butterfingers today. This is a black and white movie. It was released in October of 1940. The love of women in their eyes, the salt of the sea in their blood. And I think that's kind of misleading because if it's more a character study on, I mean, there is parts of it where women are involved, but to me, it's about this core group of actors listed here. And this is considered by this guy, David Shipman, and The Story of Cinema, one of the best American films about sea life. I love movies like this. One of my favorite movies that I reviewed on my old channel about this time period was The Cruel Sea. That's more about the Royal Navy during World War II. This movie came out while the war in Europe was ramping up and German submarines are on the prowl. John Wayne gets top billing. Obviously, he was an A-list actor of the time, and he was a frequent John Ford collaborator. But the standouts for me in this film are Thomas Mitchell, who played Uncle Billy in It's a Wonderful Life. You'll know him from that. What the H? And then there's a guy that plays a down-and-out Royal Navy officer that lost his commission from alcoholism, and then he ends up just being this merchant sailor and kind of an inconspicuous guy running away from his past life under the shadow of his alcoholic tendencies. This was an adaptation of a playwright named Ed O'Neill. He had written several plays around World War I. So this pulls from 4 different plays that I have jotted down here. The Moon of the Caribbees, a movie of another play called In the Zone, Bound East for Cardiff, and The Long Voyage Home. So they kind of pulled from that to do a screenplay. Ford is a master at laying out a shot, and there is a semi-autobiographical movie where David Lynch plays John Ford in a pseudo-biography of the life of Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg, one of his idols for directorialship was John Ford. And before I even researched this movie, I felt that this movie kind of had a film noir vibe. He would do these shadowy kind of shots, and then as I dug into the Wikipedia article, they said that it kind of was a predecessor to film noir. Movies like, I can see the movie The Third Man inspired by the way he kind of did his shadowy black and white. He's really good at capturing the horizon, capturing light with cigarette-filled smoke going through the air. These shots that he sets up where there's like a window, but he's kind of outside of the window in a long shot, but then you see the focus point in the window. He's just a master at laying out a scene, and this movie is not one of his more well-known films, but it certainly should be because it's a great character study movie. He was really good at doing an ensemble cast. Basically, the whole premise of the movie is people being at sea. It's their life. Maybe they don't even have a place to go home. And the John Wayne character plays a Swede, which to me he does terrible as an ethnic accent, but whatever. take it what it is. He was an A-lister of the time, right? They're trying to get him back home to go see his elderly mother and go back to the farm. He's been at sea for 10 years. So that's kind of the premise of the movie. They're hauling ammunition from the U.S. to the war effort in England, and that's kind of the premise of the film. I don't know why this movie doesn't get more credit. It had $600,000 plus budget, and it barely grossed $580,000 at the box office. But again, I think it is a masterfully filmed movie. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score, critic average of 100%. I think that these older movies don't hold up to a younger generation, perhaps, because of the critic average. Only 500 or so people submitted their average. It's only 70%. And again, 6.9 out of 10 IMDb. And only 3 people have submitted their reviews to Google, so there wasn't even enough for an average. But I totally agree with the critics on this one. This is a 5 out of 5 film. It made me want to rewatch some of those sea epics. Even one of the more recent sea epics with Tom Hanks in the U.S. Navy in World War II. I believe that was just released straight to Apple during the pandemic, and I did not write the name down. But that should have been in theaters. Unfortunately, that went to streaming because I think it came out around 2020 or 2021. But I really like any type of sea epic. Captain's Courageous was another 5 out of 5 sea epic that came out 6 years or 5-6 years earlier than this film, 1936 or 38. And this is just a special film time, the late 30s, early 40s. It could be considered the golden age of cinema. But, you know, again, we get a master like John Ford, and it's just a must-own if you're into John Ford, or if you're dabbling into film noir, or just want a survey of a great golden age of cinema movies. Check it out. I'd like to hear your thoughts, or if you check it out, comment down below, or if you're a personal friend, reach out. And if you've seen this movie, I'd like to know what your thoughts on it are as well. Until next time, have a great weekend, folks. We'll see you then.